welcome to the brand new Startup Central. I'm Nayantara. This show, it's one of its kind on Indian television, dedicated to startups, of course, but also technology, disruption, innovation, entrepreneurship. In a nutshell, anything that has to do with the new economy. Before we go any further, folks, our email address on top of the screens, suc@etnow.tv. Tell us what you want to see on this show, what you never want to see on this show. Pitch to us. Who knows, maybe one day you'll be a part of the show. While we're talking about pitches, this is a pitch a lot of you founders will want to be making and getting it right as well. Lightspeed, an early stage investor which spotted the likes of Oyo as well as Byju's early on, is having a program, a 6-week crash course if you want to call it, dedicated around mentorship. It's called Emerging Entrepreneurs. Like I said, it's in the second year, and Lightspeed taps into its global network and gets literally the who's who of the technology and startup world to India to actually mentor founders. How can you apply? How much time is left? How can you make the eligibility criteria? What's in store? And of course, no pressure on all of you that may want to apply. I'm going to be joined by Lightspeed's Vaibhav Agrawal to explain us all of this. Hi Vaibhav, welcome to Startup Central. You know, before you go any further, why don't you pitch emerging entrepreneurs to all the founders that are tuning in, to all the startups that are tuning in? What is this program all about? What's your pitch?
Sure. Really excited for Extreme Entrepreneurs 2019. It's a program to bring the outsider to the inside. It's a program that brings the world's best ideas, people, and mentorship to the benefit of 8 deserving entrepreneurs in India who might have started their journey as outsiders. All for zero equity, no strings attached. The program runs over 6 weeks this year in Delhi on Testy Tuesdays, once a week, where founders spend the day with Lightspeed. Mornings begin with a masterclass with the top gun of technology. And when I say top gun, I mean it. Designed to inspire and really expose founders to top ideas. Afternoons are where founders get pressure tested, stretched, and pushed on their business and mental ideas. And evenings are fun, dedicated to the community, open to all, rock and roll and cocktails. So that's Extreme Entrepreneurs in a nutshell.
Okay, so now you know about emerging entrepreneurs in a nutshell, but Vaibhav, you represent the big bad world of finance. So I'm going to ask you, you say no strings attached, but there has to be something in it for Lightspeed. You say it's free, but I can't get over the fact that there are no strings attached. What's in it for Lightspeed?
It's a question we asked ourselves. But let me tell you something. All Lightspeed partners in India were either founders or operators before. Heck, I was a doctor in the emergency room in Chicago before I decided to hang my scrub and move back to India and start my first business in 2009. We not only know how hard it is to start a business, we know how even harder it is if you're an outsider. Extreme Entrepreneurs is our attempt to pay it forward. When Lightspeed partners, including myself, were starting our entrepreneurial journeys, many unnamed founders, investors, operators showed us the way, told us what to do, for no expectation of a return. That's why we created Extreme Entrepreneurs, to level the playing field and help high potential founders get access to mentorship, community, and resources to bring their ideas to big fruition.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask a question that a lot of the founders and startups will be wondering. What's the checklist to make it to this program? What are the do's and don'ts? What is it that Lightspeed looks for in a founder?
Yeah, what's most interesting about Extreme Entrepreneurs, and because it's not a funding program, is that the only criteria to whether or not someone makes it to Extreme Entrepreneurs is whether a founder will benefit from and make the most of the program. No idea is too early or too small. No founder has the right background or the wrong background. The moment a program becomes about funding, the investment criteria changes from who will benefit the most to who meets our investment bar. So Extreme Entrepreneurs is all about finding those founders that are high potential and will make the most of the program.
But as far as emerging entrepreneurs goes, will you have a preference, let's say, for founders that have never received any funding, are in the pre-Series A funding stage, or do you also consider founders that have managed to get funding?
So absolutely not. So last year in 2018, there were startups that were pre-product. Two entrepreneurs getting together and early definition of what they wanted to do, all the way to there were founders who had seed funding from an institutional capital source. So really, like I said, we're absolutely agnostic to whether or not you raise funding, whether or not you have a product. You could be anywhere in your journey and still be a good fit for Extreme Entrepreneurs. I think I would still say though that we've seen that founders who are pre-Series A and might still not have a strong body of support around them tend to benefit the most from Extreme Entrepreneurs.
Okay, with that out of the way, let's talk a little bit more about what's in store when we talk about emerging entrepreneurs. You said they're going to be tech titans, literally the who's who, seriously big players. Who are these big players? Who are these big guns that you're bringing to New Delhi for emerging entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so let me tell you a little bit about who were some of the masterclass speakers last year and a few this year. Last year we were joined by John Thompson, who's the chairman of Microsoft, Alex Chung, CEO of Giphy, Ritesh Agrawal, founder CEO of Oyo, and Dheeraj Pandey, founder CEO of Nutanix, joining the mission. This year we have an even more interesting lineup. Anu Hariharan, partner at Y Combinator, Max Levchin, one of the co-founders at PayPal, and now co-founder at Affirm, Mercy Victoria Grace, ex-head of growth at Slack, are some of the folks who've joined this mission.
So emerging entrepreneurs, still new, a startup of sorts, if I can call it that, when it comes to your program. But jokes aside, you have the experience of only 1 year. So all those that made the cut for the first edition of Emerging Entrepreneurs, how do they benefit from the program? You have the experience of 1 year to know how life may have changed for all of them through Emerging Entrepreneurs.
So let me talk about both. The most powerful moment for me at Extreme Entrepreneurs 2018 was on the last day. A founder, an absolute outsider to top business or engineering schools, 30 plus years old, having gone through more than one pivot on his business, still looking for the right product market fit, said something to me. He said, I feel way more ambitious than I did a few weeks ago. And I feel the confidence that I can do it. That is why we do Extreme Entrepreneurs. It's to inspire and to bring the world's best people and ideas for the benefit of these startups. As far as funding goes, Nayantara, Extreme Entrepreneurs is not a funding program. It's a program where founders can be open and vulnerable, get their ideas pressure tested, their mental models stretched, and that can't happen when there's judgment from an investment lens. That's why we don't take equity. We actively discourage people to come and apply to Extreme Entrepreneurs if they're raising financing. Because if you need financing, then you'd rather do that versus enroll in a learning program. Post Extreme Entrepreneurs, the founders are free to pursue their journeys, explore investment from anyone they want, hire whichever way they want, and really get on with their entrepreneurial dreams. As part of that, they're free to raise financing from anyone else, including us.
So can I explain or describe Emerging Entrepreneurs as, let's say, a 6-week-long incubation program, a 6-week-long accelerator? This is not an accelerator. This is not an incubator. We don't have demo days. We don't prepare founders for an eventual investment. Extreme Entrepreneurs is a program to learn, get inspired, and meet the world's best people and ideas. That's what Extreme Entrepreneurs is. I've asked you what you look for in a founder, what you like to stay away from as well. But tell me, all those that are tuning in, how should they be applying?
So, applications are all online at ee.lsvp.com and they're open until August 15th. Or they could just write to any one of us at ee@lsip.com.
Now, emerging entrepreneurs, is this a program that you have only in India? Is it tailor-made for India? And if that's the case, do you think you would take it to other geographies?
Yes. It's interesting you ask that. One of the design principles for extreme entrepreneurs, as we were thinking about it last year, was really apply what we've learned and what we've observed in the market over the last decade investing in India. We observed that a lot of founders in India may not necessarily come from top business schools or engineering schools, may not even be in the top cities. They sometimes might be switching careers and might have seen a need that's close to them. And more importantly, even the ecosystem of angels, operators that traditionally give guidance in more mature ecosystems like Israel and the Valley is still very immature and young in India, which is why one of the design principles for extreme entrepreneurs was to bring the world's best people and ideas in a very, very condensed format, create simulations, create one-to-one office hours to really create a wholesome learning package for founders that is very unique to the Indian context. It's almost like a mini MBA, like a crash course, on entrepreneurship condensed in 6 weeks.
A 6-week-long program. Now tell me, when you have founders coming in for this, it's going to be at the cost of not being at work. Time is also money. So how is this going to pan out exactly?
So that's the other design principle. The reason why the program works over 6 to 8 weeks and is only one day a week is that the founders can actually use that day to learn and immerse themselves. But then for the other 6 days, they go back. They go back to their customers, they go back to their employees, they go back to their day-to-day and really apply learnings. In fact, last year I was working with 2 teams, one-to-one during Extreme Entrepreneurs, and we were chatting every Tuesday about, what they were learning in their customer interviews, what they were learning through their product A/B testing, and we were using our Tuesdays to really brainstorm what worked, what hadn't, and then really plan, what they were going to go out and test over the next 6 to 7 days. So I think the program really complements well a founder who might be running his or her business, already.
How many applications are you going to shortlist? How difficult is it going to be? How cutthroat is it? Do you have a number in mind?
We really don't have a number. We are unfortunately constrained by how many startups we can work with one-to-one. Every startup works, one-to-one during the afternoons in what we call office hours with a Lightspeed partner. Last year we had 8 teams. I think it's going to be broadly around that same number, but we've been overwhelmed with applications this year. Last year we had 450 applications from 45 cities. This year it's going to be easily twice that. So, honestly, we are very, very, both overwhelmed and then also, silently joyed to see that, founders out there are hearing about this and seeing value in applying.
I've asked you this before, and I'm going to ask you again because, I've grown up believing or being told there's nothing like a free lunch. You're having a 6-week-long crash course with no strings attached, with absolutely no fees that has to be paid. There has to be a catch. Why are you doing this?
Nayantara, let me share something with you. Extreme Entrepreneurs is a love project for us. Like I said, many of us started our journeys as founders as total outsiders, right? And a lot of people that I was mentioning, other entrepreneurs, founders, operators who helped us start our companies and showed us our way, did so without any expectations of a return. That's it. We love building companies. We love spending time with entrepreneurs. And that's why we won't charge a fee, whether it's $1 fee or any equity. It's completely no fee, no strings attached, zero equity program.
So the other way I could look at it is that it's also in Lightspeed's interest, like everybody else's, to have a robust ecosystem for startups, for investors, and all the stakeholders.
Absolutely, absolutely. We hope that extreme entrepreneurs over time become a community that not only help each other, but then also become a nucleus around which learning spreads and propagates, in the ecosystem. So, what we are causing is a little ignition, through the program, but we really hope that the explosion sort of reverberates throughout the ecosystem, and founders learn from each other and the learnings percolate in the ecosystem. I think the exposure that founders get is like that first spark, that can catch fire and explode the dynamite. So I'm really hoping that not only are extreme entrepreneurs hopefully successful, very very successful themselves, but then also pay forward and create a community and learning around them.
You have only 1 year's experience to go by, but I do wonder about this. So the founders that you dealt with in the first year, are you still in touch with them, or does the relationship between Lightspeed and these founders end at the end of this 6-week-long crash course, simply because you said this is not for funding, there's no strings attached?
Yeah. One of the core design principles of extreme entrepreneurs is community, right? And it's not only community within Lightspeed, but it's also community among the extreme entrepreneurs, the community that they build with Lightspeed team, also the community that they build with the broader ecosystem. So we actively create community events even during extreme entrepreneurs. The evening cocktails that I was telling you about, where we invite peers and colleagues from top venture firms, media, operational world, corporate world, to come and meet these founders and really sort of bring them to the inside. I'm delighted to say many of extreme entrepreneurs of 2018 have kept touch with us over WhatsApp groups, and we have so many of them. And we love seeing them. We love seeing them. They drop by for coffee or drinks. Some of them are in the valley now. When I'm there, sort of look forward to catching up with them. And I'm sure most of them will be back this year to welcome the new wave of extreme entrepreneurs 2019 into the community.
As I come to an end of this interview, I'm going to take a leaf from what you said in your first answer. You described what the routine would be, and you actually said that there are going to be cocktail and rock and roll nights. Now, I'm a big fan of Led Zeppelin and The Doors and Pink Floyd and all of that, but really, these founders, millennials, all of them listen to rock and roll? I thought they were all about electronica. Are you sure you've figured that one out right?
You'd be surprised. We feel that founders are such a rare breed, and they're such outliers. It's dangerous to typecast them into any preference or background or stereotypes. I think it's also our way of lightening it up and adding some personality to the program. We like to have some fun. We had some pretty epic cocktail nights last year, and letting our hair loose. So we're really looking forward to some of these cocktails this year.
Vaibhav, you also told me that you hung up your scrubs, you worked in an emergency room. So, what exactly happened? How did you enter the world of startups? How did you become a founder? How did your journey for entrepreneurship actually begin? The idea, of course, being there are many out there who studied very hard, put in all of those hours, but maybe realized that, hey, this is not for me. So I'm asking this question on their behalf.
Nayantara, I had trained as a doctor at a public hospital in India and Bombay, and then had the fortune of training in the US on several occasions. And I think just the sheer contrast between those two settings, triggered a series of thought-provoking, excursions in my mind. I just saw two healthcare systems that were so different. I saw a big opportunity in using technology, in using better practices, in using better drugs, to really improving quality of care in middle-income urban Indians. And so in late 2008, I moved back. In 2009, along with two co-founders, started a company called Prima Clinics. And I was a starry-eyed 23-year-old entrepreneur then, trying to bring the best of medicine and the best of evidence-based care to the benefit of middle-income Indians in rapidly expanding urban areas. So we set up a bunch of clinics in Gurgaon, that I think were fairly successful.
Vaibhav, I don't know if I'm supposed to call you just Vaibhav or I'm supposed to call you Dr. Vaibhav. Maybe we'll discuss that during Emerging Entrepreneurs. I live in Delhi. This program is going to be in Delhi. And thank you so much for this interview.
My parents ask me that question all the time, and I haven't figured out a good answer. So, you do you.
I think you can safely count on it. Thank you so much for the invite. We will be there, the Startup Central team. Vaibhav, thanks a lot for that. So viewers, stay tuned to the show. We come every weekday, 6 to 7 p.m. You're going to see Emerging Entrepreneurs in the month of September in Delhi. If you haven't applied as yet, time is running out. We've got you all of the information, the email addresses, and also you know firsthand what it is that Lightspeed likes and doesn't like and what's in it for all of you if you were to make the cut. With that, we're going to take a short commercial break, but stay tuned. On the other side, I'm going to be in conversation with Nykaa's Advaita Nair, who's, of course, part of the founding team. We'll be doing a store visit with her and getting you a very special masterclass.